And welcome back to Late Night Lately, the late night show for the website cpluscomedy.com. Like I just said, it's a website. Go there. Welcome back in. Here we are. Do another episode of this program, podcast, whatever. Who cares? I've got a monologue for you. Let's get to the jokes. Andy Burnham was sworn in as the UK's 7th Prime Minister this decade in a ceremony where he gave a speech about how he'd make things much easier for the 8th one. One more, and the 10th one is free. OpenAI said one of their autonomous agents escaped containment, reached the internet, and hacked another company. And that's the least scary thing to happen this week. Elon Musk says Grok will make a more historically accurate version of the Odyssey by the end of the year, but it won't make him a real boy. You heard that right. Elon Musk says Grok will make a more historically accurate version of the Odyssey by the end of the year, but it won't make his children love him. Yeah, that's right. Elon Musk says Grok will make a more historically accurate version of the Odyssey by the end of the year, but it won't make him pull that trigger. Oh, Elon, do it, you puss. Donald Trump loves you. The Cybertruck is selling. You're the first trillionaire. People, everyone loves you. Oh. I'm sorry. Not really. Pete Hegseth was grilled on Capitol Hill, and it wasn't for the Nazi tattoos? And finally, Tyler Perry is building a virtual production facility in his Atlanta studios where he can finally converge sexually with Medea. Hello, Medea. Oh, hello, Tyler. And that's all the jokes I have for you. Let's not pretend I did that 3 times in a row, because I definitely did. Oh my gosh. The first time I had to go get this Nerf gun. And I will place that not on the expensive work laptop, over here on top of a printer where the cat is currently looking. And I will keep that actually over here in my lap because I know she'll hop up there. Welcome back in. It's been a week. I wrote those. So usually I try to write the jokes ahead of time. Do not hop up there. I know you're looking for it. Do not do it. She listened to me too. I usually write the joke. I try to write the jokes ahead of time. I wrote that Andy Burnham joke, I think Monday, and then I wrote nothing else. Oh, and then the AI thing on Tuesday, I wrote the premise and then I wrote the joke, and then I tried, and then all week long I just forgot. And I'm doing yoga, like now an hour ago, because it took me forever to get over here. But I did yoga, and then I knocked out the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 jokes, which is great. Because it never, nothing, even though yoga is about flowing, it was not flowing for me today. I did yin yoga. I like to do yin yoga on Fridays. It's basically stretching, more or less. Keeps me nice and tight. All right. Let's talk about what happened this week on. Oh, I am P King. Let's talk about what happened this week on in late night. For the Tonight Show, we had Jimmy Fallon was it Odyssey Week, right? Oh no, Odyssey Week was last week. He had a continued Odyssey Week this week, but he had Kevin Hart and DJ Khaled. I still don't know why DJ Khaled was there. I did not watch his interview. Quite frankly, I turned it off after Kevin Hart. and obviously, yes, everybody knows I watch it on when I record these shows and I watch it on YouTube TV. That's very true. I want to give them those views. Then they also had a Travis Scott, who was in The Odyssey, and Drew Brees. But they also had this thing, which was a Battle of the Instant Songwriters, which was something that I didn't know what was happening at the time. But I guess it was nice to see that, these people had this talent. And also something that was really special to me, because I love this musical. Les Mis, they had a performance of the Arena Concert Spectacular. It's an anniversary. It's an anniversary showcase of, not showcase. It's an anniversary concert of Les Mis. And I wish I was in New York just to go see this. Ugh, but they did. They performed one day more, which was really cool. Shania Twain stopped by, and she performed a song as well. She's looking as good as ever. John Leguizamo was there. I just came out of a showing of it was like 4 hours ago. I saw The Odyssey. That you'll have to listen to the Constitutionals podcast for my thoughts. Let's just say I did not see it in 70 millimeter IMAX, but I did see it in 70 millimeter. I paid the exact same amount of money as if I drove to the 70 millimeter IMAX in at the Mall of Georgia in Buford. I would have paid the exact same amount of money for a ticket. Anyway, Christopher Nolan, speaking of The Odyssey, was there. And I know people always complain about how Jimmy, is like laughing through his interviews and doesn't really ask any questions or whatever. But this was such a good interview. He knew exactly what he wanted to ask Nolan. And Nolan was a good interviewee and answered questions. And the audience was captivated. I cannot stress this enough. It was a great interview. Cody Rhodes is also there. I like Cody Rhodes. And Pete Lee performed some stand-up. Pete Lee is a lot taller than I thought he was going to be. And then Gracie Abrams, they had a little during the commercial break where she and Fallon talked a little bit. She was on the show last week. On Late Night with Seth Meyers, he had a nice little week going on over there. Oh, also, Fallon is like he's more recently, and I would say like in the last couple of years, has been relying on his writers to play characters, which has worked really well in their favor because in his favor, in the monologue's favor, because they pop up during the monologue and they have some really funny bits that audience is not there for. That audience wants to like clap along to music, clap along to the half beats of music. And I don't know, and win prizes or whatever. But man, Fallon's writers are so funny when they pop up, and I don't know their names. I wish they were put on IMDb. I don't know their names because I'm always looking. Every single time one of them pops up, I go to IMDb and I'm like, who are these people? Seth had on Marcelo Hernandez and Minka Kelly, who is still looking fantastic. They also did a very funny White House press briefing. Leslie Jones was there. I was going to link this interview, but then Joe Firestone in the same episode was also interviewed, and it was so funny. Joe is so great. Friend of the show of the Constitutionals, Joe Firestone. I spoke to her a couple of years ago. Tracy Ellis Ross was there talking about her new Broadway show. And also looking fantastic. Luke Evans, I'm a horn dog. Luke Evans was there talking about the Rocky Horror. I was like, why is Luke Evans there? And then Seth said Rocky Horror, and I just went, ugh, I hate Rocky Horror. I despise it. We had a couple of closer looks. James Norton, Rosie O'Donnell, close out the week. On Jimmy Kimmel Live, Colman Domingo hosted, and this is something I thought about Monday. This is I thought I didn't want this to be a topic, but this is definitely something I thought about bringing up. Look, Jimmy's on vacation. I get it. He has these guest hosts. I get it. They want to draw people to continue to watch the show. They're not going to get just like any comedian to do. I just touched the microphone. The pop filter was coming off. It still looks like it's coming off. Wait, hold on. There we go. They're not going to get any comedian or any person to come and host a show. Don't understand why they got Ike Barinholtz. I like Ike Barinholtz. He's a funny guy. I'm just saying. But when they get these, but at least Ike is funny. When they get these actors who are essentially just presenting on the show, it really throws a wrench in the late night process. The monologues just become statements, but like more so, and this is not an insult, but it is a critique. There is, and it is also an insult, but Jimmy and Jimmy Kimmel and Stephen Colbert and Jon Stewart on the Daily Show, or actually all of the Daily Show, there's oftentimes there's just statement and then people clapping, and that happens tenfold when an actor just comes and hosts a guest host the Jimmy Kimmel late night show. So all that annoying stuff I hate about the Daily Show and Stephen Colbert's show and Kimmel's show is intensified when it comes to guest hosts. Now, Colman Domingo guest hosted this week. He's an entertaining person. I do like him as an actor. As a late night host, this did not work. I could not make it through the first monologue. I tried again the next night. I could not make it through the second monologue. His first episode was engineered for me to turn off. He sat down with Jacob Elordi and Jafar Jackson. I don't want to see the Michael movie, and I don't give a flying fuck about Jacob Elordi. The next night, he sat down with Diarra from Detroit. Looking as gorgeous as always. Marlon Wayans. I told you, I'm a horn dog. He also sat down with Marlon Wayans. And then this is a band I'd never heard of before. Guitarra que la da Fuente. So there you go. Patrick Ball was there. Arsenio Hall had a nice long interview. And that was it. Arsenio's great. He's just a very funny guy. I understand why he got a show in the 90s. It's amazing. Why he got a late night show. Then Niecy Nash Betts and Carrie Kinney Silver, both co-stars of Colman Domingo. Obviously, with these shows, they're all in relation to whomever is hosting. And then finally on the Daily Show, they turned 30 this week. The show turned 30. Congratulations to the Daily Show. Jon Stewart obviously hosted on Monday. He should have hosted on the 22nd. I don't know. There wasn't we'll get to this in a second. He sat down with Ben Wickler, and then Desi Lydic hosted the rest of the week with guests like Megan Rapinoe. I believe she has a new podcast. And then Carolina Wiedra from Pluribus, and Elliot Page from The Odyssey. It's a short interview. Oh, because of this quote-unquote celebration. Josh Johnson sat down with these crazy people talking about Stargate, which they believe. And Leslie Jones did an opinion piece about right-wing racism. Just another week of The Daily Show, which is unfortunate because The Daily Show did turn 30 this week. And the way they celebrated was with a compilation video that took up half the episode. Which, I'm glad that they celebrated in a way that looked back at all of the 30 years, but as a compilation video. And I feel as though it could have, something else could have been done. This video could have just been put on the internet, but it's just clips from episodes dating all the way back to Craig Kilborn, which is nothing, but still, I feel like something could have been done about like a true celebration of this show. But all in all, The Daily Show has been around, and it's really, for a long time, and it's really made its mark, not just in late night history, but in delivering real fake news. If you hear any clicking going about, I'm messing with the barrel of his gun. In dealing with real fake news, which is, it's fascinating how this show, if you've ever seen any of the original Daily Show or Jon Stewart's early years, this show is more or less the same, but you can see how it's grown. I don't want to say up, but you can definitely see it because it's still the same humor, which works for the show, and also worked for Colbert's spinoff, and it also worked for Klepper's spinoff, and it also worked for Larry Wilmore's spinoff. Anyway, it was nice to see those early clips, and then to see the speed bump that was the post 9/11 show. Sorry. All right, I do feel bad about that. That was mean. That was mean. The Daily Show is, I would say, Carson's Tonight Show really changed what a late night show was. And then you had somebody like Letterman innovate upon that. And then you had Leno make it easy for everybody to enjoy. And then finally, after Carson, and thanks to Carson, Joan Rivers and Arsenio Hall were able to speak to the people who weren't really being spoken to, in the women and people of color. And Arsenio brought flavor to late night. And then, Conan, with Letterman, he brought, silliness, and was able to make things both fun and funny, and just try different things, and make it all work. And then and what you can see on his you can go to Letterman YouTube channel, and you can see stuff from the daytime show as well as the late night show. And then Conan made everything just grander for like less money, and less availability of huge gigantic stars and views, especially for the first couple of years. And then moving on after that, everybody following had their like a bunch of late night shows came out of this world of everybody wanting to have a talk show, a bunch of late night styled shows, I would say. And then we ended up with people like Jimmy Fallon and Chelsea Handler and Seth Meyers and Jimmy Kimmel, and Colbert twice, and James Corden, and even Lily Singh, Carson Daly. And I know I'm missing a bunch of people, but it's just fascinating. And Guy Branum, I think about Guy Branum's late night. Wait, what's it called? Talk show, the game show. There's so many different flavors and so many different varieties of all these late night shows, and out of all of them, I will probably say the Daily Show stands out, because it takes the view of a news program, and then I hate to say this because it sounds so chintzy, but it skewers it. It skewers the news. One way that they're celebrating is also introducing, this comes from the Hollywood Reporter, Katie Kilkenny wrote it. The Daily Show's first microdrama will feature a sleepy president, billionaires, and a love triangle. If you don't know what microdramas are, join the club, because I still don't understand what they are. But from what I can guess, is that they are vertical shows that you watch on your phone, and they're made for your phone, and they're, episodes, in quotes, are just little tiny bursts of content for you to enjoy. So it's like watching a season of a TV show in 2-minute spurts over the course of 10 episodes, because people can't pay attention to TV anymore. So this new show is called The Daily Show Presents Two Billionaires Fight to Dominate the Country, ellipses, and My Heart. The story is set to satirize both the state of U.S. politics as well as the vertical formats, which typically uses soap opera-esque plot lines, romance, and wild twists to keep viewers hooked. I didn't know what these vertical video things were. What is it called? Microdrama. I didn't know what a microdrama was until Issa Rae's production company was announced to have like a huge deal to make microdramas. And I just went, this is where we're going now. Here's the log line for the show, a show I will, again, never touch. When the president's beautiful daughter, Alonka, announces that her aging father wants to spend more of his Oval Office time, sleeping, two filthy, rich tech gods Egon Husk and Jeff Davos must compete to build a new AI president to help him run the country. But their lust for power and Ivanka leads to dangerously hot complications. The show has no premiere date yet, and it does not even have a platform, but I can only assume TikTok, YouTube Shorts, and Instagram Reels. I don't know what this what they want out of this. Anyway, verticals are hip, so I guess that people are going to watch this. You know what's really worked, and this is not a late night show, but the InfoWars that The Onion purchased the InfoWars from Alex Jones, and I think all of the money that they're making, because they're also making InfoWars TV shows. So I think all the money that they're making is going to benefit people impacted by Sandy Hook and other school shootings. Don't quote me on that. I don't know if that's true. Anyway, the InfoWars show that Tim Heidecker is hosting as Alex Jones, it's like a full 40 minutes, and it's done so well that I think it's done too well. I enjoy it. They have like a Tucker Carlson style show on there. Well, no, is it? Who's the guy? I feel like it's a Tucker Carlson style show, but with a Rush Limbaugh style. It might be a Rush Limbaugh style show. Okay, never mind. Who knows? Okay. All right, listen, I'm done. If you like what you heard here, head to the website, cpluscomedy.com, where you can see me talk to famous people. I've got a couple more interviews coming out, so hopefully. We've sent emails, and we've done some corresponding, so hopefully these things actually happen. If you want to see a video version of those interviews under the interviews, go to youtube.com/cpluscomedy. We're going to see a video version of this podcast, as well as the other podcasts. Oh, God, it didn't start. As well as the other podcasts. LinkedIn Logs, the Jobs and Business News podcast, and the Constitutionals, the Entertainment Business News show. Subscribe to those shows wherever your podcasts. So follow us on social media, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, and Blue Sky at C Plus Comedy, on those platforms at Chad Black White. Thank you so much for listening. We'll see you next time. Bye.